Michael E. Gerber Show. I'm here with Cliff and Todd, who help people find enormous amounts of money. Would you please tell us what business you're in?
Sure, go ahead, Cliff.
We are in the wealth management business. We work on traditional stock.
So wait a second.
Okay.
So you're in the wealth man. In other words, they've got the money that you help them find. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, they do, but unfortunately, they're losing a lot of money. Imagine it like a bucket. If you had a bucket in front of you and it had a bunch of holes in it,
yes,
the water inside of the bucket would be your wealth. Unfortunately, you might be losing a lot of that wealth as it pours out of the bucket.
I got it. I can identify absolutely with that story about the bucket.
So what we do is we help families plug the holes inside of the bucket, so you can actually have the bucket overflow with a trickle, as opposed to having to gush more and more water inside of the bucket. So though we help families grow the wealth with the money that they already have inside of the bucket, we actually help them from losing or giving away money voluntarily that they otherwise don't need.
I got it. So your financial advisors, your financial planners.
That's where we started.
Wealth managers.
Yes.
Your whatever you call it. But there are a lot of guys out there in this industry, the financial services industry, copious numbers of people who say they do essentially the same thing. But from what I've heard, you have a unique way of thinking about it. Could you tell me what that is?
Sure.
Been a huge fan of a lot of your books. We talked about that before.
Thank
And one of the greatest takeaways that I got from your books is the working on your business versus in your business.
Yep.
Now, to a guy who used to play, believe it or not, a point guard in basketball, that to me translates to offense and defense.
Yep.
And so what is traditional in our industry is many folks are very frustrated that their financial team, their advisors, attorneys, CPAs, don't give them specific strategies to help them permanently and significantly reduce those expenses and greater increase their cash flow. To give you an example, rather than looking backwards at the end of a year after everything's already been done and trying to piece a plan together, what we try and do is proactively look forward and try and avoid the voluntary transfers or the voluntary giving away of someone's wealth. To give you a specific example, taxes are something that is on the mind of everyone. And we see that all the time.
Every day.
So would it surprise you?
And on the government's mind as well.
Well, it's like crack. They can't get off of it. But in talking about taxes, would it surprise you that for a person who makes $250,000 a year, the average effective tax rate is only about 14%. So for the average person, they're paying $35,000 or less in taxes, and that's not according to Cliff and Todd, that's according to the IRS. So the scary part is that 50% are doing what? Paying more than $35,000 a year. So it's our job to take a step backwards, and rather than focusing on the side of the balance sheet that is trying to increase their wealth, we think we have to go to the other side of the balance sheet and stop the holes. If you stop the outflows, you don't have to take as much risk, you don't have to save as much, and you can spend more on the journey. And our question would be, after knowing those facts, especially about the taxes, are you sure that you're paying as little as legally required when it comes to your tax bill?
Wow. And I imagine most people don't know.
They don't know what they don't know.
Yes.
And that's the worst
part.
part.
They don't know. And I imagine that there are a lot of people in your industry who don't know either. And really aren't focusing on what's absolutely essential. So what I hear you saying is that you help your client see through different eyes something that has always been there to be seen, but that nobody's really pointing out to them. It's an extraordinary gift.
Yes, and that is correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. So the really good thing for you guys to do would be to go to work for the federal government and teach them how to do the very same thing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be extraordinary?
That would be extraordinary, Todd. I'm not up for that one.
No, I don't think I want to run for that office either.
Okay. Just a little thought. What can I tell you? So you told me a neat story about a client you've worked with. Share that story with our guests.
Great. there's three major expenses that families are going to have in their life. One, it's going to be the purchase of their house. Two, it's going to be sending their students off to college. And three, it's going to be their retirement. We were working with a veterinarian in the Chicagoland area, and in working with him, one, we helped him figure out how to save $113,000 off the college bill.
Wow.
In addition to that, we showed him how to save $12,000 a year through different tax strategies. And finally, we were in New York on business, and he gave me a call, and he said, "Cliff, I'm thinking about this new house that I'd like to buy." And Todd
it was his dream house, and he's never used that word before.
Yeah, I
Really?
mean, he is normally a very nice, calm, even-keeled man, but he said, "Cliff, this is my dream house. How do we do this?" And I looked at him and said, "We've created a plan that's flexible enough for you as a small business owner that's going to allow you to be able to have the house of your dreams, to be able to still send your students to school, save on the taxes, and be able to live well in retirement."
Wow.
But allowing him to light up on the other end of the phone and say, "Is this okay?" that just made my day. It made my week.
Gotta be extraordinary.
Well, and let's talk about the other side, where sometimes dreams don't come true. And we've been working with a family in our area, small business owner, just a mom and pop store. Is a very, very honorable man, cares about his family, wants to do the right things, has done everything that they in the professional finance field say that he should do. And this is prior to the collapse of the economy. And so we sat down, and he was very concerned about taxes, about his cash flow, and we ended up finding approximately $30,000 a year that he was spending on other things that we're able to recapture. And at that point, he was very concerned about his retirement. So we were able to redirect that into tax-free retirement vehicles moving forward. Well, we know what happened around 2007, 2008 is some very, very bad things happened. Well, as a small business owner, a small community, that had a very dramatic impact on his cash flow. And the sad thing is that had he not done what we did because of the flexibility, he would have lost everything. I just had a conversation with him not too terribly long ago, maybe 6 months ago, where with a tear in his eye, had we not gone through and found that money, and let's face it, in this economy, in this country, money does one thing. It gives you choices. That's it. And we were able to free up that cash flow so that he didn't have to turn in his house. He could still send his kids to school. He could do the things that he wanted to do. He's not going to retire like he was, assuming that the business doesn't come back. But we were able to literally save a family from having to go through much worse times than was maybe necessary by not finding that money.
Incredible. So you guys got to really, really feel good at the end of the day.
It's a great blessing that what we get to do. It really is.
And I see it in your faces. Yeah, I actually see it in your faces, how much joy you contain within you because of the extraordinary gifts you're giving to the people you work with.
Yeah, I mean, we go to bed tired because we do it all day long, but I mean, wake up with the spring in our step in the morning because we have the opportunity to make a real difference and to transform lives.
Super. So it sounds like as well you've created a system for doing this so that you're able to replicate yourselves.
Absolutely.
And you have others around the country who are doing the very same thing.
That's correct.
So what's your vision? What's your mission? How big are you going to grow?
Well, I don't know that we've talked about size. You had mentioned it previously. When we talk about vision, to me that sounds like, a lot of folks talk about that. But vision to us is, who do we want to be a hero to?
Right.
Obviously, we're both family guys. I'm married a great lady. She's a great partner. I've got 3 great kids who incidentally think that because of the location of your TV show, that this has to be on the Disney Channel. So they're anxiously awaiting, I believe today, to see if we're on the show or not. But in trying to be a hero to not only our family, we want to be a hero to those families that we get to work with every day as well. We never know who that's going to be.
But there are millions of them. So gentlemen, you're obviously doing extraordinary work on behalf of your clients. And there are millions of clients waiting for you to do exactly the same thing. Are you scaling up to do that?
We are.
We most definitely are.
Wonderful.
And we're scaling up across the country with a lot of quality advisors that are like-minded, that would be able to give the same level of quality that we would.
And who can use what you've used
Our
and
system.
know what you know in order to do the very same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Extraordinary. So tell everybody how they can reach you.
They'd go to our website. I mean,
Sure.
that's the easiest place to find us. You'd go to thestrategicwealthsystem.com.
thestrategicwealthsystem.com.
It's a mouthful.
Oh, well articulated. Yes, I got it.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
You'll love the site.
A delight.
Thank you. All right.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Todd.